everyone for coming out again today to add your voices to this critical call for action. Thanks as well to the elected officials who are here to support this call. Let's have a warm recognition for State Representative Teresa Tanzi, State Representative Gidiagello, Providence City Councilor John Gonzalez, State Representative-elect David Morales, State Senator-elect Tiara Mack, and Democratic State Rep nominee Brandon Potter. Now we are here today to discuss Senate procedure, a topic that, as dry and complicated as it might be, could determine the future of millions and hundreds of millions of Americans now and in future generations. Every value and right that we hold dear, every single one, hangs in the balance of this battle. To free and fair elections, to our bodily autonomy, to who we are and how we love, to our rights as workers, to affordable health care for millions of Americans, to the ecological fate of life on this planet. We are in the fight of and the fight for our lives. So we are asking our elected officials, particularly Senator Reid and Senator Whitehouse, to take on this fight by any means necessary. And to help them to do that, we are providing this how-to guide, proposing 15 specific, concrete procedural actions that taken together could have the potential to delay this illegitimate Supreme Court nomination until after the election or beyond. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list. There are undoubtedly other and even better ideas out there. But we want to be clear today that we are not naively asking our senators to do the impossible. We are not demanding, as Senator Whitehouse described it this week, a non-existent triple secret procedural strategy to solve all our problems. But when our democracy is at risk, when our most fundamental rights are on the line, we do expect our elected leaders to exhaust every option to fight for us and our futures, and that includes the 15 options that we're sharing today. This strategy of using every tool at our disposal to actually wield power, that's been Mitch McConnell's approach for years. And the reality is, it's been extremely successful, far more successful than the don't rock the boat, play nice response that Democrats have far too often employed. Of course, there is a massive difference between the GOP's historic obstruction and the obstruction that we're calling on our Senate Democrats to use today. And that difference is little d democratic legitimacy. Republicans have used these tactics again and again to block the majoritarian will of the American people. We are asking our Democratic senators to use these tactics to stand up for our public will. To be very clear, there is absolutely zero mandate for Amy Coney Barrett to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. Donald Trump lost the popular vote by 2.9 million votes. The GOP in the Senate represents 15 fewer million Americans than Senate Democrats. And Senate Democrats won 18 million more votes than Senate Republicans in 2018. And by a margin of 20 points, the public says that this seat should be filled by the winner of the next presidential election. What What Donald Trump and Republicans are trying to do is nothing less than an anti-democratic seizure of our nation's courts and laws for the next 20 or 30 or 40 years. In the face of a coup d'etat like that, there is only one acceptable, there is only one democratically legitimate response, and that is to block, to halt, to fight back by any means necessary. Because if this confirmation goes through, we might not have another chance at little d democratic accountability. I know that our senators remember Bush v. Gore, the case where an unelected Supreme Court handed the presidential election to the Republican candidate, the same party that controlled that Supreme Court. There's someone else who remembers that case. It's Amy Coney Barrett, who was working on that case in Florida for Bush's legal team, fighting and working to make sure that not every ballot in Florida got counted. Donald Trump's plan is crystal clear here. They are not even trying to hide it, right? Donald Trump will find grounds to contest this election. He'll bring those grounds before the Supreme Court, and he'll once more let that unelected body hand our country over to this illegitimately elected authoritarian strongman. If we care about the results of this election, if we care about our democracy, then we must care about blocking this confirmation. We are 37 days out from November 3rd. Confirmation hearings in the Senate are slated to start on October 12th. There could be a committee hearing by October 16th. So Democrats would need to make it 18 days between then and the general election. 18 days. That's not impossible. That's not impossible, and today we're going to talk about how they can and they must try to do it. But first, we think it's really important that we once again ground this conversation in the stakes of this fight, in why it matters so much. So we're going to hear from a few speakers who will touch on what we stand to lose if we do not fight this with everything that we've got. And following these speakers, we'll together share our how-to guide and discuss the 15 procedural tactics that it contains.